We asked ChatGPT about businesses like yours, and here's what happened. Now, before you spend another £1 on Google Ads, before you renew another directory listing, you should know what ChatGPT already says about businesses like yours. Because right now, people are opening AI tools and asking questions like, who are the best family solicitors in my county? Who is a good tax accountant near me? And here's the uncomfortable bit. If your business's name doesn't show up in that answer, as far as that potential client is concerned, you don't exist. In this episode, I'm going to show you why some businesses come up as answers on ChatGPT, while others don't. We're going to use solicitors as our example niche. I'll ask ChatGPT about solicitors in a given area, show you which firms it picks, and break down exactly why they get mentioned and what they're doing on their websites that most firms aren't. Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 in this series on how to get AI to pick your business. I'm Amy, one of the co-founders of Nomadic UK, an award-winning video agency based in Cheltenham. In episode 1, we talked about why AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini are becoming the new gatekeepers for search. In episode 2, I showed you how to add your video transcripts and summaries to your site, so AI can truly understand what you do. Today, we're flipping it around and looking at it from the client's perspective. Instead of talking in theory, we're going to see what happens when a real person asks AI to recommend a business. We'll then be able to cover what kind of firms show up, what their websites look like, and what you can copy from them, starting this week, so you're not invisible in those AI-powered recommendations. Let's jump onto the screen. Let's go! Imagine I'm a prospective client. Maybe I'm going through a separation, or I've just been dismissed from work. I might just be buying a house. I type something like, who are the best intellectual property law solicitors in the Southwest? Who are the top employment solicitors in Bristol? Good conveyancing solicitors near me. Let's go with, who is the best divorce solicitor in the Southwest? What I usually see is a short list of firms by name, a brief description of each, sometimes a mention of their specialism, sometimes their location, and it all sounds incredibly confident, even if you know the market, and you think, not sure they're actually the best. Now, regardless of whether those firms are truly the best or not, what matters is those are the names that AI is putting in front of clients first. So the real question is, why is AI recommending those firms? ChatGPT and Gemini AI and tools like them are basically doing two things. They're scanning the web for firms that match the query, family law solicitors, employment law firm, conveyancing, etc., and they're summarising what those firms say about themselves on their websites and profiles. If your competitor's getting mentioned and you're not, it's usually not because they're better lawyers than you, or they've been around longer, or they've got fancier branding. It's often because their online content is clearer and easier for AI to read and understand. Let's look at what the firms that do show up tend to have in common. When you click into firms that AI recommends, you'll start to see patterns. You don't need to copy their branding, but you can copy the structure and clarity. Trait number 1, they have a clear area of law and their location right at the top. On their homepage or key service page, they make it very obvious what area of law they specialise in, who they act for, individuals, businesses or both, where they are based, and what kind of matters they handle. They're not vague. They don't say, we're a leading full-service law firm providing bespoke client-faced legal solutions. They're specific, like we are a specialist family law solicitors in Cheltenham, helping separating couples resolve divorce, finances and child arrangements. Or maybe we're an employment law firm in Bristol, acting for employees in unfair dismissal, redundancy and discrimination claims. That kind of sentence is exactly the sort of thing AI looks for when it's trying to answer, who is a good solicitor in Bristol? Trait number 2. Clear Services Area of Law pages. Scroll a little further and you'll see dedicated pages for specific areas of family, employment, wills and probate, conveyancing, commercial, etc. And on each page they spell out the type of client, individual, businesses, types of matter they handle, typical outcomes clients are looking for, and this tells AI, this firm is relevant to family law inquiries in this town, or this firm is suitable for employment law. If your site buries everything under a generic services list with one sentence per area, AI has far less to go on. Trait 3, they tend to have helpful content and FAQs, not just about us. The firms that show up tend to have content that actually answers client questions. They've got blog posts or guides like, how long does a divorce take in England and Wales? What are my rights if I'm made redundant? What does a conveyancing solicitor do? And FAQs on their service pages covering costs, timescales, processes, what happens at the first meeting, whether they offer fixed fees or legal aid. So when a user asks AI, how much does a divorce cost with a solicitor? What should I look for in a good employment solicitor? AI goes hunting for clear question and answer content. If your competitors are publishing that and you're not, then AI can't find you. Trait 4, video and text together. More and more you're going to see short explainer videos on key pages covering what happens in your first meeting with our family team. They'll have written summaries and sometimes full transcripts underneath. We covered doing this in episode 2. This is a dream scenario for AI tools. They can identify the topic from the video, understand the detail from the summary and transcript, making them feel confident about recommending that firm as a helpful resource. If your website just has a glossy About Our Firm video with no text around it, it looks impressive, but to AI, it's almost invisible. Now let's turn this into something practical. Here's a 5-point checklist you can use to audit your own firm's site. If you want AI tools to say your name when someone searches for solicitors like you, start here. Number 1, can someone tell what you do in 5 seconds? Go to your homepage or your main practice area page and ask, would a stranger know what areas of law you focus on? Whether you act for individuals, businesses or both? What town, city, region you serve? You're aiming for something like employment law solicitors in Bristol, advising employees on unfair dismissal, redundancy and discrimination claims. If your hero section could belong to any professional firm in any city, then it's too vague. Number 2, do you have clear separate pages for your key areas of law? For each area of law you truly want instructions in, do you have a dedicated page, not just a bullet in a list? A short explanation of who it's for. We act for employees, employers, landlords, tenants, families, small business owners, and a small breakdown of the typical matters. For example, on a family law page, you could say something like, we advise on divorce and separation, financial settlements, childcare arrangements and contact, cohabitation and prenuptial agreements. That gives AI a much clearer picture of what queries you're relevant for. 3, are you openly answering client questions? Take your top 10 questions from consultations, phone calls and emails and ask, do we have a blog post, guide or video that answers each of these openly? Common ones for solicitors might be, how much does a divorce cost with a solicitor? Do you offer fixed fees or hourly rates? How long does a tribunal usually take? Do I have to go to court? What is probate? Can I get legal aid? Firms that answer these questions clearly on their site give AI exactly the material it needs to recommend them when users ask those same questions. 4, do your FAQs sound like real clients? On your service pages, do you have FAQs written in actual client language? For example, what happens at my first meeting with a solicitor? Can I bring someone with me to an appointment? What if my ex won't engage with the process? What if my employer has offered me a settlement agreement? Do I need a solicitor? And do your answers sound like a human, not a textbook? Think about at least 2 to 4 sentences in plain English. AI tools love this format. Question, then clear conversational answer. And finally 5, do your key pages have video and summary and transcripts? On your most important practice area pages, do you have a short video introducing the team or area, explaining how you help and what to expect? Followed by a written summary underneath, if you'd rather read than watch, and ideally a full transcript below that. If yes, then you've made those pages dramatically easier for AI tools to understand and recommend. If not, this is a high impact improvement that also builds trust with human visitors. They can see you, hear you, and then read at their own pace. Sticking with the theme of solicitors, open Chat GPT or Gemini and type, who are the best family law solicitors in the Southwest? Then look at which firms get mentioned, click through to 2 or 3 of those websites and ask yourself, how quickly do they make it obvious what they do and who they help? What pages do they have that we don't? What questions are they answering that we've never tackled on our site? Then go to your equivalent practice area page and run through the 5-point checklist. You'll almost always find 1 or 2 easy wins. And that's how you start shifting from we have a website to we have an AI-ready, client-focused resource that gets us found and trusted. So a quick recap. When we ask ChatGPT for recommendations for businesses in a given area, the firms that show up tend to be very clear about what they do and where they are, have dedicated pages for key areas of their business, whether products or services. They answer real client questions in their content. They use FAQs in plain English and increasingly use video backed up with text. That's summaries and transcripts. If you want AI tools to say your firm's name when someone looks for a solicitor or a business like you, start by fixing your clarity and your helpfulness online. If you'd like a simple version of the AI checklist, from this episode, drop a comment with AI checklist and we'll send it over. Hit like and subscribe for more practical episodes like this, and stay tuned for episode 4. For today, that's a wrap. See you soon.